Hey guys, my name's Ange. Welcome to Healing with AJ. I hope that you, if your child has eczema, if you have noticed any eczema symptoms or signs that you think is dry skin, it's rashes, you've taken them to the doctor and the doctor has told you that it's eczema. It's eczema and they would live with this for the rest of your life. Told you, and the doctors also told you that even though your child is moderately allergic to or intolerant to something, you should still give it so that their body doesn't get so shocked. Yeah, that you should still give it and that it would not impact their eczema. And you have done that, just like I did, but you have found that unfortunately, like my daughter, it did impact her greatly, or it is impacting them greatly. If that's you, then we are your people. Follow the community and subscribe and follow us, and let us all embark on this journey so that we hopefully, if I can help any mothers or any parents not go down the route of topical steroids and oral steroids like we did, also to a point where that stopped working by the time she was 5 years old and she was being considered for immunosuppressant treatment like methotrexate, phototherapy. I want you to please follow us. Kids are the most resilient human beings. Their bodies will show you that once you unlearn what you know, once you also stop and think, whatever the doctors have told you, you can turn that around for you and your child, for your child's experience, and even adults. Like, I'm just here to see however I can help, or whoever I can help on this journey to just understand food allergies and intolerances a little bit better. I'll try and keep this as simple as possible so everybody understands. And again, like I said, environmental allergies, you may not always be able to have that much control over them, but we can also, I can give you some examples of how we have navigated environmental allergies. So yes, if your child has a list of food allergies and environmental allergies, please put them in the comment below and we can see how, and I can try and explain that to you, or I can try and help and do video responses in what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what you should consider. Topical steroid withdrawal, we're going to do this in like a series basically. So we will talk about topical steroid withdrawal, and we will talk about the food allergy aspects and intolerances, and we're also going to talk about eczema as well. Yeah, so if doctors, I mean, like many of you, if you're in the UK, and if you're not in the UK, if you're in America, I would say the first things first, get your child tested. Get your child tested for, rule out any allergies and rule out any. But yes, if you're new here, please subscribe and leave any comments or any questions that you may have, because I think that would also help me help others that are on this journey to basically know how I can answer questions. So just to give you guys a little background, for me and AJ, we have been on this journey for 2 years. So she is in 2 years, basically in March, beginning of March, she would have officially be 2 years and probably a month into her topical steroids withdrawal journey. She has had eczema, I would say, since birth. That is when we started that's when I started noticing how that she was prone to having eczema skin. And how did I notice that? I started noticing that when I would eat certain foods. So for example, when I ate eggs, for example, that is one of her allergies. I noticed that even though I was breastfeeding, I was strictly breastfeeding her for a year, and then I started to introduce formula, not formula, I would say milk, because I think at the time, after the age of 1, they recommend that you start giving them obviously milk, cereals or whatever. So even when I started weaning, I was still expressing and giving her breast milk with her cereal. However, when I was breastfeeding, if you are breastfeeding, you have a newborn, and you start to notice what sometimes people may call, I will attach and I will put some pictures in this video, when you start noticing certain rashes, for example, or hives all over your child's body when you are still strictly breastfeeding, that should indicate that you are eating or consuming something that is affecting your child's body internally. Eczema comes out on the outside, so it's a sign that whatever you have consumed on the inside or something is going on the inside then before it then presents on the outside of the skin. So just to keep it, I want to keep things as simple as possible on this channel. I don't want to overcomplicate things with jargon, and yeah, so let's get into that. So if you're a new mom, or even if you're not a new mom and you've been on this journey, you've been a mom for a year, 2 years, and you can, when you think back, have a moment, think back, and you can, if you can tell yourself, or you can confirm that when you look back on your child's eczema journey or where you are now, can you look back as a baby and reflect back and just think they were signs, but you just could not pinpoint what it was? And even if you have other kids, so just because you've had other children before this child that maybe they're the middle child or their second child and they have eczema, no one's exempt, because you all have to realize, like, all children, every single one of us processes foods in a different way, and that is why eczema then appears on the skin. Would like for this channel to be, or even if you're not in the UK, before you consider applying any topical cream, any topical steroids, before you even consider thinking, oh, what cream can take this rash away, what cream can take, you know, this, the drying out of the skin, every single thing that you can think of, I want you to get creams out of your head for a moment. So one thing that I would encourage you, the first thing on the list, I would bang on about this, and I will always come back to talk about this as many times, is the first thing you're going to do is to get your child tested for allergies. Even if they are a baby, I know that one of the things that I don't like to do, test your babies for allergies, test your babies for intolerances. That will help you to narrow things down. Even if you're a breastfeeding mom, that will help you not to eat those foods if you want to carry on breastfeeding. So maybe you have to have alternatives of those things so that your child continues to get nutrients. But you will also see that even if you are doing formula, your child may react to some of that formula that has dairy in it, for example. So I want you to think, always think before anything else, I have to rule out what my child's allergies are and what the intolerances are. Now that is what I want this to be. The main focus of this video is, let's kind of unpack that, or let's keep that focus. Let's keep our focus as the first point of action for you should be allergies. Allergies, it doesn't matter. Allergies and intolerances, because when you don't give your children what they're allergic to and what they are, what their intolerances are, you will not see the eczema appear on their skin. They will have healthy skin. So that should be your first point. That should be your first action. Okay, so definitely get it in your head that even if somebody came and gave you a whole room full of creams for you to try, as long as your child is still consuming any of their intolerances or anything that they're allergic to, the creams are not going to work. And I'll stand by that. And I will show you the various creams I've tried in the last 5 years, and that includes everything on the outside, the herbal baths, the yeah, everything you can think of, everything. And I'm African, so you guys already know, everybody's like recommended a lot of things, but we will get into that. So had I not listened to doctors when they told me that having intolerances, as moderate as they were, not severe as anaphylaxis. So let me try and kind of explain that to you. So when you do your even if it's patch testing, which is they will prick your child's skin, if you're in the UK, then basically what they offer is patch testing. I know that can take a long time, so if you can afford it, I would say go private. One of the other things that we did was one of the other things that we did is we did a hair follicle test at the age of 5 while I was waiting for her to be tested again. So Aiden was tested at 2.5 following an anaphylaxis reaction to something she came in contact with. At the time we did not know, because I had done a great deal in avoiding the allergies that I knew that I had noted down while I was breastfeeding. So we had always kept those out of her diet, which were eggs, milk, and peanuts or nuts. So those I knew quite early on while I was breastfeeding, so they were also confirmed when she had her patch testing at 2.5. As we were progressively, as she was approaching age 4, we started to notice that her eczema wasn't getting any better regardless of the topical steroid or regardless of the topical steroid treatments, and she was in a state of inflammation. I'll pretty much say for the whole year, from the age of 4 to 5, the eczema was spreading everywhere over her body, which basically then led us to start questioning as to why were the steroids not working anymore, and why the doctors were pushing for us to, by the time she turned 5, to consider well, at the time we started with oral steroids, and she was prescribed oral steroids, which I wasn't happy with, because that also had its own side effects that I was not happy with. And the next thing that we would say is when they started to talk about immunosuppressant treatments, or methotrexate, phototherapy, just another name I just never remember it, but I will put it here, is I then basically, as a nurse, having read into these drugs and the medication side effects and the long term, like if they could not agree, I mean they could not confirm that this would be helpful for her, I then basically started to say, well, okay, well, I had to put my foot down. I just said, okay, started to do a lot of research, and basically that is what then led us to withdraw her from steroids. And I think I said to myself, if I committed, which is what I did, was if I committed and she was happy to commit to it, no matter how uncomfortable it's going to be. I had seen various videos of other creators on TikTok who had shared their own journey of topical steroid TSW. That word sometimes gets long to say, and I just thought, I knew she could do it. Kids are resilient. I know you may think, oh my god, it's so painful. I can see that, like, you will see through the pain, you will cry. This is a faith journey. I'm not sure if you're all Christians, but I know for a fact that being faithful and being obedient can be one of the most testing times, because you will be tested. The tears, the sleepless nights, like I don't even know how I have maintained a full-time job, because I was in pieces throughout this whole journey, and but God kept us, and we keep pushing through. And I just really hope that you realize that your children are resilient. And which brings me to say that it's not one thing that we have done. We've eliminated, which is again all her food allergies and her intolerances out of her diet. How I've done that is making every meal, from seasoning to I had to change the whole diet. And I do remember, like, when I committed to that, and I said to her, and we sat down and we spoke about, you know, how we're both going to commit to this, and yeah, I know it's not going to be easy. I did a whole clean out. We did a whole diet. I had to learn how to make some of our favorite meals, which I will share in the Healing Bites with Healing Bites for AJ. I will share the meals, the alternatives that I have learned how to create that she loved before she acquired new allergies. Oh, and that's another thing. At any point in your life, in your child's life, they can acquire new allergies. So I will be sharing as well the allergies that she started out with from naught to maybe 4 years old, and then from 4 years old, the new allergies that she acquired, food allergies that she acquired prior to us starting TSW, which were also confirmed in the hair follicle test, which you can also get done at any Chinese herb allergists near you. They offer those. I know those are not apparently recommended or yeah, they don't think that those are accurate. Basically, the dermatologists and allergists do not think that those are accurate. However, I would say if that is your starting point, I very much believe in it. A lot of the allergies that came out of the hair follicle test, a lot of the results that came out of the hair follicle tests also came back in her blood tests and her skin patch tests. So I know they say that do not take those hair follicle tests as Bible. Yes, don't, because you might end up not eating anything. However, the major ones, the ones that your child is moderately allergic to, and the ones that your child has anaphylaxis, which are the ones that the dermatologists and allergists want you to focus on. Trust me, believe it until you get the skin patch testing or the blood test done when they're checking for allergies. So I would say, I know that the doctors or allergists focus a lot on the anaphylaxis reactions, and however they tell you to still include the moderate reactions in your child's diet. I would say don't do that. Do not do that. Okay, that is, I solidly believe that is how we ended up where we did, why my child's eczema never got better. Okay, you have to be willing to commit. This is a commitment. It's a fight. You have to commit to this journey, because that is the only way. If I can tell you how I have committed through and through, then that's going to be the only way that you guys are going to get these results, is literally committing through. Eliminate every moderate reaction from birth, and it made sense, and I will be able to show you guys some videos of my daughter. Is when I started weaning, obviously she wasn't having any of the things that she was allergic to. However, when they did say to me, so for example, her dairy allergy is considered a moderate reaction, or as they like to say, not an anaphylaxis reaction. So yes, she will break out in hives even if it touches her skin. If she does eat it, yes, she will break out in hives. However, as the week progresses, the eczema will flare, and she'll be very itchy, which if she did not have that, or she did not have anything like a yogurt or an ice cream that has dairy, she'll be absolutely fine. So that's why I would say moderate reactions, please, like, take them out of your diet, of your child's diet. The other thing that I wanted us in this video just to say is that, so yes, you don't want your child to be in shock, which is obviously what they like to say, is you don't want your child to later on in life, if you completely eliminate it. And then there's loads of alternatives. It's costly. A free from diet is very costly, so I want to be very transparent about that. I don't even know. So if you don't eliminate those things out of their diet, their eczema is going to be active all the time. That's why you're going to be seeing that they're very itchy, they rush, like, the skin is inflamed, the skin's cracking open, they're scratching their skin open. You are going to see that until you eliminate their moderate intolerances or allergies. So yes, if you've been told, offer it in yogurt, offer it in ice cream, even if you were to give it moderately, because it's a moderate reaction, they're never going to be comfortable in their skin. The goal here is for your child to feel comfortable in their skin, but also, most importantly, is for the eczema not to show up on their skin, wherever it may show up. So for us, yeah, like I was saying, when I started weaning, I noticed that instantly, and it started in small spaces, because again, like I was saying, that I was only offering it in things like that, like yogurts or ice cream here and there, but it would still show up. So she started out with just her things, like 2 fingers, and then you also have to remember when they have cracked skin, and she would chew her things. At the time, I just kind of took it like, oh, she didn't have a dummy, she was breastfed, she's just probably comforting because she was teething. I took it as that. However, actually, when I looked back, it's because I had introduced yogurt. So then those fingers basically just remained her, you know, comfort point, like she'll chew them so intensely that the skin will crack. I'll post some videos here. And she just we went on, and that was the first, you know, just before she turned 1, and then I think again until 2. So then obviously they were prescribing our steroids, and I was just like, there will be times where it was just intense. So you will see, like, you start off obviously with the small steroids. They will start off prescribing small steroids, but that's because they keep telling you that, yeah, you know, there's no cure, it's eczema, it will grow with them. No, there wouldn't be any eczema if your child was not exposed to the allergen. And that's what I want you to take away from this. So when you look at your diet, your child's diet, is there, even if you don't know, so don't feel bad, even as much as I feel like I did the groundwork when she was, you know, not to like 2.5, when I still got confirmed allergies. Like I said before, your child can acquire new food allergies at any point. Moderate allergies, like I said, I wouldn't, you know, moderate doesn't mean it's not harmless. So that's one of the things that I want you to consider for some children. The persistent inflammation, that should just tell you your child is not ready to process that particular food, or that particular, yeah, just whatever that is keeping them in that state of inflammation. So yeah, so what I wish I knew and understood, I wish I understood that it's actually an inflammatory illness, and that it's just not topical, because it's an inflammatory illness, that, and then also an autoimmune illness. You know, this is where you would have all the, for example, like the allergy aspect of things. And if your child also has asthma, like my child also has asthma, that's probably hereditary. So there's probably somebody in your family, they may have outgrown it. For example, her dad, he has asthma. So yeah, this is where we are. I've had allergies in the past, but my allergies have always been kind of very like topical stuff, like makeup, but not necessarily food allergies. If anything, maybe intolerances, but never really food allergies per se. But yeah, like I said, and I want to emphasize that once you know what your child's allergies are, even though they are moderate, please eliminate them out of their diet. Do not give it to them at all. So I just want to confirm that if you made it this far, and just to kind of give a brief summary, is that if your child has allergies and the doctors have told you that the moderate allergies still include them in their diet, and you're not crazy. You are just following the doctor's instructions. However, I'm here to help you, and as AJ is the evidence of that, to help you to unpack that and and just understand a little bit better that our kids, as I like to call them, kids of the special skin club, are not like other kids. They're not able to process those things as yet. Not to say that they never will, because yes, it's absolutely true for some children that they will grow out of it. But because you're not there yet, you can help them by eliminating those things out of their diet, and you can consider waiting a little bit longer and maybe offering it to them in moderation, and just maybe once they get out of that inflammatory stage of their eczema, so that you can gauge. Like I said, I personally do not shy away going back to doctors and asking them, hey, can you retest her, because it's been a year now since you got last tests. I just want to gauge where the allergies that we have known, where they're at. Like, has she, has the intolerance levels gone down? Is she out of the moderate? If she's out of the moderate, then hey, I'm happy to reintroduce that food again. Because again, like I said, you want to work with the allergists and the dermatologists or the doctors, and just say, well, you know what, okay, now that food intolerance is gone down, I'm happy to start offering that, or maybe do a food challenge. And yeah, but yeah, so you're not crazy and you're not overthinking. There's definitely something there that is causing the eczema to show up on the skin. And on this channel we will be breaking down obviously our journey step by step. So if this has helped you understand a little bit about why allergy testing and intolerance testing is important, then please share it and subscribe. And yeah, we're very much happy. Leave any comments, please, like leave any comments. I will try my best to answer them as much as I can, but from our experience aspect, not to say that our experience is, you know, will be everyone else's experience, but there will be definitely some things I may recommend that you try. We will also be talking about the natural remedies that we have used on this journey, the alternatives, yeah, the various creams, because I know creams is a very big thing that people usually offer us. We've also like had brands reach out to us and offer us to try their creams, which we have, so I will be able to share some of those things as well. Yeah, so please leave a comment below, like like AJ would say. Yeah, comment, share and subscribe. And yeah, we hope to see you in another I hope to see you in another video. Thank you very much. Bye.